I think there are two striking differences in what we're trying to do.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Ru.
I'm Christian.
So I'm Oana.
We as Oose can add from our experience to the learning experience that the participants have.
We talked a bit about this, like the let's say mostly the advantages of this kind of like longer term course and asynchronous type of online course, and how it allows you to build skills over time. We also at Aalto and as part of BBST have these other types of trainings or workshops where they are either face to face or still online, but synchronous and shorter term. But I think at Oose you have even more of these, like you said in the beginning, a lot of these face-to-face courses or synchronous online courses. So maybe we can talk a bit about the two approaches. Christian, how do you see the difference between them and their advantages and disadvantages?
Well, I mean, a huge difference is as a trainer and as a participant, well, you do see each other. So there is a direct synchronous feedback on what's happening. Well, for online classes, at least if everyone has their cameras turned on, that's a prerequisite. But I think that's a huge difference, that you can see each other and that you get non-verbal feedback as well. So if as a teacher I'm talking about something and I see people are frowning, so I immediately get that it doesn't resonate, and I get where I maybe should be putting some more effort into. This happens in BBST as well, but it takes some more time because until it's written down and it's reviewed, and that maybe takes a few more minutes. And writing your thoughts down maybe is also a bit of a filter in that way. So that is a huge difference. And another difference really is the I think online classes that are taught on premise in a shorter time, they're usually more condensed. Because you just have to squeeze a lot more into it, which on the one hand is very good because you are immersed completely into something new, so you can open up to new topics completely because you don't have to deal with your everyday work. Well, at least hopefully you don't have to with your everyday work that is still waiting for you after the class or something like that. So that's a difference. And yeah, as for being online, well, something we learned during the pandemic now is that online classes, even if you're doing them live, are different from on-premise classes. I mean, that's probably something that you had the same experience. For example, we are doing a lot more breaks in between so that people can get away from the screen. And what also is sometimes missing in online classes is the participants coming together, just talking about things, talking in the break. Well, did you see this? Do you do this as well? Those kind of conversations usually don't happen that much in online classes.
I would add here one thing that we thought about, how can we also have like a more condensed experience for specific things that people want to learn. So I was mentioning at the beginning that when we build skills, we need a longer time and more practice. And we also considered the situation that we actually focus on a very specific, for example, testing technique that we get together and work on that and practice it. So, for example, we thought of and we started actually creating these workshops, and we had quite several of them already with some of our clients. And the idea is that we have this online workshop for some of them are like 1-2 days, some of them are like a few hours, but are like few hours each week for 5 weeks, for example, or 6 weeks. And even if these workshops are online, they are like synchronous, meaning that everybody's for those 3 hours per session, everybody's connected with the webcam on, and we work on exercises, and we discuss like the exercise. We work on exercises in groups, and then we discuss with the whole team. Okay, what has each group managed to do, and how they viewed and solved the exercise, and what are the learning points for each of them. So we do these debriefing sessions after each exercise. These workshops are online, but the advantage is that this interaction happens easier and right away between students, and through the debriefing and the actual work in the breakout rooms, for example.
So we kind of have to create the space and maybe artificially encourage the discussions that you mentioned, Christian, that would happen maybe on the hallway. Like, how do you see this? What did you do? How did you understand this concept? So we try to kind of create those through the debriefing sessions, and in the breakout rooms, specifically ask people to discuss these aspects as well.
Yeah, I totally agree that that's something that we do as well, to try to emulate those hallway discussions in some kind of way, to enable those kind of exchange as well. And one other thing that I was just thinking about in terms of differences is I think it's at least from a teaching point of view, it sometimes it's easier for live classes to adjust a little bit to the needs of the participants. So if you feel I have a little bit more of leeway. So if I feel this is not 100% what people really need, I can shift a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, include some other topics, and maybe leave some topics they already know a lot about out of focus. And at least personally for me, this feels easier in a live setup than in something that is asynchronous and running over another time. So that might be also a difference there. Yeah. Okay. So and I don't know about you, but I don't see that one is better than the other. It's just that each approach has different advantages and different disadvantages, and just. Well, it's just everything else in life as well. You just have to know what suits you best. So that's where we are coming from.
Yeah, I wanted to point out that one thing that it's important to do is to try different approaches in different times, because as we all know, pandemics changed quite a lot the paradigms of learning, for example, or interacting and working. So it's good to actually experiment and see. Also, many students maybe nowadays have already taken an online class or a type of training, which is maybe different compared to many years ago when people had fewer options for trainings. And but they maybe when they started BBST Foundations, that was the first online course they took. So I think it's important to see how these formats work in different times for different people, and also with different objectives. And I think that's why I gave the example of the shorter workshops for specific techniques, because sometimes when you work on specific items, it's maybe more fruitful to make shorter sessions and with a higher interaction and more opportunities for practicing together, working in groups. While maybe when we want to work more on the mindset or with the mindset of a participant, then we need more time and a different type of approach. Maybe students have readings to do and time to reflect on their own about their mindset and their approach to do something and to learn something.
So we talked a bit about the two different approaches, but I think Christian, you also, now that you want to add BBST to your portfolio, I think you're looking at an interesting mix between the two. So Do you want to talk a bit about how you plan to take BBST and what changes you make?
Absolutely. Well, I think there are two striking differences in what we're trying to do. The first one is language. So BBST classes are usually in English. Where we are heading is having the material still in English, but having the classroom itself, having the class itself in German, because there is just demand, at least from our point of view, there is demand for German classes in Germany. And the second thing is we're trying to combine those two approaches a little bit that we just mentioned, in terms of that we will chop off a week of total time for the BBST course, but therefore we will have two on-premise days where we get people together and where we adapt the established BBST scheme a little bit to having people come together and doing exercises actually together and giving feedback directly without a screen in the middle, so that people will get to know each other even closer than they do in usual classes. So that is our idea, that we try to shorten the time by a week, but therefore have two full on-site days or online days where people totally focus for one day on the topic. And that is something that we are experimenting with, and where we think that that might be interesting thing to establish.
Yeah. That sounds quite exciting. I'm quite curious to see how it works, and I think it's a really good idea to try to combine them in this manner. So fingers crossed, and I'm looking forward to the feedback.
Yeah, so are we. So come around, tell us how we are doing. No, jokes aside, we are really looking forward to this, and I think this is where we can put. BBST has a great outline. BBST has topics and curriculum that has been established, and I think trying those things out, we as Oose can add from our experience to the learning experience that participants have. So that is something that we are really looking forward to.
Sounds great.